Welcome back, folks, to the Membership Machine Show. This is episode 37. In this episode, we're going to be discussing 10 of the best AI tools that will help you build and maintain your membership website in 2023. That's not a mouthful, is it, folks? I've got my great co-host. He looks very... Oh, yeah, he's looking up there. You're looking very serene, actually. And we'll soon change that, folks. Don't worry.
I'm in a good mood. I got no problems today.
Oh, we'll soon change that, don't we?
The usual problems today. Who doesn't have problems, Jonathan?
Yes, that's right. Would you like to introduce yourself to the new listeners and viewers, Spence?
It's Spencer Foreman from WP-Launchify.com and Spencer Foreman, there's no E in Foreman.com. And you can find me on social media at Spencer Foreman as well.
So, Spence, before we go into this list, what do you think we are, with AI, basically? It's very early days. It's just exploded on the scene to some extent, even though it's got about 40 years of research behind it. I, like most things, I've got very mixed feelings about it. Obviously, I think it will change the marketplace considerably. But we're at the present moment, like most things, I've never known something have so much bullshit said about it than AI. Also, a strange mixture. So what's some of your own views about AI?
I suppose that one can look at it through the lens of Luddites. And Luddites, for those who haven't heard the term, is, around the turn of the 19th century into the 18th into the 19th century, automated loom machines were threatening and did take the job of manual labor. And there was this group following a guy named Lud. They were called Luddites, who basically decided the solution to this modern innovation was to try to burn down all of the looms. And I think there's a certain amount of history repeating itself. People have all kinds of doom and gloom and prophecies and concerns for whatever. But historically, that never really comes to be, because what happens is innovation and people's perception tend to move forward, but asynchronously, yet they're still sort of attached to each other, kind of like a boomerang. So some new innovation comes out and everybody's got but then what happens is the tail end of it swings around and people change their expectations or behavior or the rules in order to accommodate the new thing. And I would pretty much say that's what's going on here. The Terminator scenario of it taking over and killing us all, not likely. The killing all the jobs, definitely not likely, because we already see what happens is you get rid of all the manual loom workers, but then they become factory workers working on the loom machines, probably working less maybe and doing more. Politically and sociologically and ethically, we have lots of things that have to be fixed about the human species, because capitalism, especially the post-Reagan capitalism, trickle-down economics, is crushing the soul of everybody between the top and the bottom. There's no longer a middle class in many places, even a progressive state liberal like California. The middle class is just crushed. So the promise of this technology is that it should allow for that thing that we were always told would happen. More technology means more time for people to live their lives, enjoy hobbies, be with their families, not to be crushed by the corporate overlords, the trillionaires, telling you have to go into an office and work more. So we'll see how it works out. But I'm an optimist because this is a good representation of the kind of stuff, like if you read Viktor Frankl or you read other Stoics, you can look at any situation that's scary through a curiosity lens or from a lens, and being scared never helps. If you're detached just enough to be curious about it, you can find many ways that it's actually going to end up very well, but not without the pains of the transition.
Yeah, that's great. Right, so I did a bit of a dive, folks. Did a bit of trawl of the internet. Some of these products I actually have utilized myself or using. but I did a real trawl, and the ones here, most of them I thought were quite interesting. So we start off with Pictory. Pictory, is that how you pronounce? How would that be? How you would pronounce it,
I'd
Spence?
say I've never heard it said, but I would say that's what it sounds like to me.
Right. I was really impressed with this, Spence. It's quite interesting. Basically, what it does, folks, you put like it take static images of video clips, and I think it can also provide them. You put in a little script, like 1 or 2 sentences in a list format, and Bob's your uncle. It reads it and it makes a video for you. You have to do a bit more after it produces the first round of video. You can go in and alter any and you can put titles. It even puts the titles on top of the video based on the. It's really quite impressive. Have you looked at this at all? Do you know anything about it, Spence?
Yeah, I mean, I subscribe to a newsletter called Ben's Bites AI, and it's just like
that sounds a bit porno to me.
Yeah, Ben. I don't know if it says Ben Bites AI. It's called Ben's Bites, and then it has AI in the title. Hold on, I can see. Nevertheless, if you look up Ben's Bites, here, no, it's Ben's Bites, and then the website is at I don't even think it has a website. It has just like a newsletter. I signed up for it from Beehive. Anyway, the point is he runs down, I think at least once a week, the AI stuff, and there's all of these tools, right? Like, so there's maybe 3-4 columns of stuff that's very easy nowadays to use AI for, one of which is for, in this case, a video generator or editing videos. We were just talking before the show. I use a variety of different tools because video editing, and that was the reason I even got into WordPress, to post up my flying videos back in the old days when you had to have a PC with tons of cards in there and Pinnacle Studio Pro, and it was like 1,000 hours to render a postage stamp. All right. What do I think about it? I think about it, you should be curious enough to look at the stuff. If something really resonates and saves you time, use it. But otherwise, we're in shiny ball syndrome world when it comes to video editing, because when it really gets down to it, video editing has more to do with the thing you're working with. Like, for example, I said before the show, I normally work here on a static PC with a big screen and a webcam and so forth, and I do screen sharing. But I really was hoping to use my iPhone that I had with the high definition camera and my laptop. And this new Ventura update allowed me to have my iPhone as a high def webcam, along with using Camtasia, which is simple editing software, works both Mac and PC. So using that software means much more to me than using AI to simplify this, that, or the other thing, right? So I also don't want to get caught into the trend of like committing to learning a tool and using a tool that's only here for a short time. Which is a lot of these things. They're not proven business models necessarily. Even ChatGPT itself, I don't know if you use it. I use it frequently for coding and for other stuff, even like for my YouTube videos. And they've lobotomized ChatGPT 4. Like when it came out, it was genius. And then they're like, oh, this is doing some crazy stuff. And they just keep lobotomizing it to the point where I just use 3.5 now, quite honestly. And I don't know what's going on with that, but like, it seems irrational, but maybe not rational. Or maybe may not irrational.
No, but get back to it. Thanks for that, Spence. It seems a pretty powerful tool, folks. It starts around $19. Most of these have some form of free trial or free version. But I watched some of the reviews and I had a quick look at it. And I think if you're looking to make videos and you've got it just really is quite impressive. You don't have to put your own content in. You can put your own content, but you just put this script in and it finds content. Hopefully it's creative rights content because you could get.
I mean,
into
let me compare it to something we've talked about before. It'd be like Canva, right?
Yeah.
So for many people, they're not going to necessarily want to be on screen or camera. This is for somebody who, and by the way, I didn't check to see, does this do the AI for the voice? I don't think it does. There's other tools.
Yeah, there's one. There's be the third one that we were talking about.
Right. So there's other tools that will do your voice, but let me explain what this means to somebody who's making content. Okay. I advocate no matter who you are, where you are, you try to be yourself on camera. However, the reality is there are many people who are, let's say, not Native American speakers. Their dialect is from somewhere else, and it's very difficult, even though they speak fluent English, for them to be heard and accepted by Native American dialect speakers, right? Like even you have a very distinctive non-American sounding accent.
All right, mate.
Welcome back, folks.
Yeah.
So in those cases, it may actually be an advantage, albeit it's something we have to accept as far as an ethical dilemma. Maybe you should use AI tools to create stuff that doesn't show your face and your voice. But what I will say is that people more and more are becoming kind of in that uncanny valley of uncomfortableness, which is I would rather see somebody make clear videos that are obviously placeholders of people, but still convey the story than a fake talking AI head. And I would rather they use a voice, if necessary, that is understood on top of that fake, obviously, storytelling, than their own voice.
Yeah, it's a tool. Yeah. It's a tool.
Well, because I don't know about you, because sometimes I can't understand somebody at all, even if they're native English.
Well, you never understand half what I'm saying, but I don't get upset. I don't get upset because if I was in your shoes, I would treat it as a blessing. There we go. Let's go on to another one, Jasper. Jasper has been around quite a while. It is one of the leading AI writing assistants.
It's the OG.
It's the OG. Have used it. It is quite expensive. It starts at $39, so you could say that's $40 a month. But you soon burn through the amount of words it produces for $39 if you're serious. But it is one of the leading AI writers.
I think it is.
I
think it's the leader.
Pardon?
I would say it's the leader.
No, it isn't actually. I use better tools myself.
What do you think's the market leader?
I'm not going to tell you.
But why are you waiting? What are you sharing? Are we going to get surprises for our birthday? Which one is the one? Something on our list today?
Oh, I use a tool called Koala. Koala.
Is that on our list today?
No, it isn't. I use that, and I find it more effective than Jasper myself.
Okay, but like how much why I bring this up to bother you about it is I remember, I think it was at least 2, might be 3 years ago, I went to the Oshkosh Air Show with a client of mine who was in a business he had a WordPress website that's like a publishing marketplace for people in the insurance industry. And he was talking about like what tools are available for AI to write some of this content. And this was the only game in town. And this was before Bertha came along and some other stuff. And I remember because it was really innovative then. It was way ahead of the time. But I also felt like it didn't quite understand what are they going on about with this ChatGPT 1 and there was 2. It was very early days. So they've been around a long time. The product is mature. The price has come around. But at the end of the day, it just still comes down to the same thing. It's like text messaging. At one point, that was innovative. And you only got it on certain phones. At a certain point, it becomes a commodity, right? And then,
well, it's like all things, isn't it? But I think if you're starting out, it is like what Spence said. It was one of the first players in this area of AI writers. It's got a pretty slick interface, and it produces good quality content. There are some more powerful tools, but if you're starting out, have a look at Jasper. There are also some WordPress. Bertha is one of the leaders. If you're looking for a WordPress plugin that does a similar thing to Jasper at a lower cost. On to number 3, Murph. Am I pronouncing it right? Murph. Murph.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Murph
you're
is
talking about Murph.
Murph.
Not
Smurf.
Murph.
Murph, Smurf.
Hard R.
Yeah, they're all right. Well, that's no chance for me. Text speech generator. Basically, you put text into it, and it's got a library of voices, and it will read out the speech for you, and it will record it, and you can use it. So you've got a whole library. Got English BBC voice. That sounds very different to me. I haven't got a broadcasting BBC voice for sure.
Right.
You got you got all sorts of different types of voices, and
Right.
a lot of people utilize this with something like Pictory, to make videos for YouTube and that for the reasons that Spencer talked about. It seems to work. It seems to work really well. It seems to become one of the leaders. There's a whole library of these,
Yeah.
but this seems, by the research I did, it's seen as one of the leaders, and it also starts at around $19. Do you know anything about this one?
Yeah. I mean, this is a good example because I'd say the previous market leader, again, I think this was 4 years ago when they came out with the concept for voiceover, was Descript.ai, which is still around, and they've got a similar product. They both kind of say that it could be voice, but they're really talking about like video. So the gimmick here is like you either have a voice that the dialect is unintelligible to your target audience and you want to have somebody just take the words, or you can't be bothered, or you have, and this is a use case that made a lot of sense to me. Let's say you had a video, and with Descript in the early days, it asked me for like 4 hours of Spence, which wasn't a big deal because I had thousands of videos. It essentially rebuilt an emulation of my voice so that if I put in a page, it would read it like me. And it was not bad. I mean, 4 years ago, it was not bad. Just like, you know, some of the photo stuff today is just like gotten better month after month. But what's happened is competitors use the same technology. And so it's awesome. It's like hundreds of choices for what to use. Murph seems really good. The pricing for the voice and so far, let's see. I didn't look at the pricing, but let's go back to it. So it's very similar. One user, 0.19, 26.99. If you pay monthly, it's 0.29.39. You get 120 voices. You get 2 hours. If you go to something like a Descript, and it's like $12 a month for 60 minutes. So if you double that, I mean, they're on par, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just depends on the interface. But I do like their website. I do feel like they're a modern version of like what people are wanting to do. And they do have, you know, like all those awards. I thought that was impressive, by the way, the G2 awards that are flying across their screen. That actually is pretty good social proof for me because there's a free trial. You know?
Right.
And I want to say something too. It's an interesting debate because this year, one of the focal points, we'll talk about it on a show we're going to record tomorrow. Do we need to build everything from parts anymore? Or should we just push a button and have it delivered? I have demonstrated for my own workflow that there are some things that it's better for me to create from a different process. So for example, I could ask AI to help me write a script on a point that I need to make a video about. I could read it and then have like AI generate the thing we just talked about, like a slideshow, and then my voice is just over the top. But I could go the full Monty too. I could have AI make the script. I could have AI generate essentially the full slideshow. I could have AI do my voice from the words that the other AI created. Like there's no Spence involved in that other than directing it.
Yeah, I found, based on my experience, folks, because at WP-Tonic, we produce a load of content every week. I am a content engine, folks. I've been AI'd. But what I found, folks, is if you use AI and you've got to read it all, you've got to edit it, because a lot of the times, a lot of it's really good, but some of it is riddled with errors and contradictions, so you've got to give it a good edit. And if you want to get a good result, you've got to add some value to it, because I think Google's pretty clever in their technology. If you add some videos to it, you add a bit of audio, you add a bit of personalized content to it, give it a good edit. Google's pretty, depends on how competitive the space is, but Google gives you credit for adding that extra value. I've found if you just write it and you just bung it on your website and you don't edit it and you don't add any extra value, I don't think you get penalised, but also Google knows that you haven't put any effort into it as well.
Right.
That's my feedback about this. So you get a lot of people saying you can produce 60 articles a week and just slap it on the website and blah, 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 blah. I respectfully differ from that based on my experience. But
one of the things that we didn't, maybe it's on here, I'm not sure. I'm looking to see. I don't think we've got it on here, but one of the other tools that has made progress, just like I don't think we have Midjourney on here either. In static images, there's a AI tool called Midjourney, which is just shown remarkable. I mean, it's crazy how realistic Midjourney's AI generated imagery is. But there's tools that now allow for the replacement of your eyes or the replacement of your entire head. So for the eyes, for example,
I bet you use that for my dating app.
It's not, you can't see through clothing yet, Jonathan. That won't be good for you. So like my camera's up here, and even if I put like below some words, you can see like when I'm reading the words, it just doesn't work out. So you normally need a teleprompter, which has like a piece of glass and the lens is right behind it. What the AI replacement of the eyes does is, I think you need like an NVIDIA card or something. It essentially allows you to record your video, but it knows your eyeballs. And so my eyes are looking at, my face is here, but I'm looking at the teleprompter, and it replaces my eyes looking at the camera. So you humans, all you humans, because I'm a robot, feel safe. The talking head is like what we've seen in the movies today, but it's available to all of us. Like when they replaced a dead actor with, a replication of him. Now, in a normal webcam, it's much easier to do, but essentially is like, you can see this on your iPhone when you replace your head with one of those, a doggy or an elephant or whatever. It has your mouth move, your eyes move, and it's just like your position of your body. Right. So you can literally, the point is, you can literally today, without too much money, replace yourself as a human being entirely. Is that right? I don't know. Is it wrong? It is here. Is it going to be useful?
I just think I think all this stuff just helps you produce more reasonably good quality stuff. That's all it does. It's supposed just to help you. So onto another one that was on my research list, that people said was AI. I quite like this, but I can't see what AI is involved in it to save my life. But it's a form builder. It's not TrueType. It's not our Barcelona 130 million 4-man team in Barcelona, which Spencer would love to join and spend the rest of his life in Barcelona.
I've spent a lot of time in Barcelona.
Yes, it's a product called Feathery. It builds customizable forms. Lovely UX design. I don't
understand.
It's got that. I couldn't. I don't see what it's on. It's on quite a few. If you do a Google search, it's on quite a few of these AI lists. But I don't see how AI is utilised at all. But it's a pain in the procedure.
Let you create high quality forms in just a few seconds. So it's more like a. Sorry, my internet.
Yes.
Am I there?
Yes,
do you hear me? Okay.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Am I there?
Yes.
My internet stuttered. Okay. So it's just like a chat bot. Essentially, it asks you a series of questions and guides you through the creation of a form. That's what their AI is.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah,
it feels like
but it's got.
I'm going to plan. Wait, hold on. I'm going to back up backup internet because, wait, maybe it's stabilized. I have Alexander Graham Bell level of internet here in Chicago.
Well, you live in the
There's a
sticks. You
squirrel
live
in the backyard.
you live 200 miles away from any major city, don't you? Oh, you see there. Well, I think he's having some trouble, folks. Hopefully, he will return. Spencer.
Oh. Okay, there we go. I'm on Plan B now.
Right.
Let's see if this works better.
Well, you live out. You live out.
So,
you live out in the sticks, 200 miles from any major
city. There's only 7 million people who live there. I mean, yeah, we're basic services here in Chicago. Like, they're still chopping down trees. In any event, other than that problem, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play? This is an interesting tool if you don't know how to build a form, maybe, but like, I honestly feel this is a little bit of a gimmick. I don't really quite get I need a chatbot.
Well, actually, I did a bit of a dive, not an extensive one, but I watched some videos and read some articles about it. It's got quite a nice interface. It's quite, it does a hell of a lot, actually. I don't think, is it enough to make me want, because it's quite expensive. It starts at $49.
Why? Why? Like, what?
Yeah, that was the problem. Why?
See, like, hold on. One of the things I want to point out, which I think is important to those people who are listening to this after the fact, I joke about it, but like, I still have this computer that I use, right? Like, and I'm holding up a pad of paper and a pen. I still use the computer because it actually turns out to be the best tool, the simplest tool for the job. Because even in a world of infinite tools, sometimes you just need a piece of paper and a pencil. And with form builders, quite frankly, this is an argument that I understand why we're discussing it. But like, I always say most of our audience is using WordPress. Why would you use a third-party form tool instead of just,
Well, some people might not,
But I'm saying that's the why. The why must be a compelling reason beyond just because otherwise you end up with just shiny ball syndrome, right?
Why do people want to use TrueType? Our Barcelona friends that they've got $140 million in the bank.
There's a construction on the way to City of Chicago and the annual highway construction. And first of all, that's a why by itself. But then when you ask yourself, if you're not in the city, do I want to go to eat in the city or visit somebody in the city? You say, why? Because now you have to add an hour of travel on. And I think that's the similar conversation. Why do I need to use this extra whatever, bling, blang, bloom, versus something I have? And I think that's how does AI expand upon the feature set, or does the cost justify the value?
Right. I think we're going to go for a break and we breeze through the other ones in the second half, folks. We will be back in a few moments with some great or not so great recommendation, but we've got some good stuff as well. We will be back in a few moments, folks.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Lifter LMS, the leading learning management system solution for WordPress. If you or your client are creating any kind of online course, training-based membership website, or any type of e-learning project, Lifter LMS is the most secure, stable, well-supported solution on the market. Go to lifterlms.com and save 20% at checkout with coupon code podcast20. That's podcast20. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Coming back, folks. I forgot to do my advert at the beginning, folks, so I've got to do that. So we got some great offers from our sponsors. Plus, we got a curated list of the best WordPress plugins. If you're looking, and you should be looking to build your membership website on WordPress, I think I've been thrown because we're not doing this on Friday, folks. So I think I've been thrown. But to get all these goodies, to get these special offers from our sponsors, plus the created list, all you have to do is go over to WP-Tonic. That's wp-tonic.com/deals. wp-tonic.com/deals, and you'll find all the free goodies there. There we go. So on to another one. Another one, it's really similar to February. It's called Calendar. Well, it's good. Well, Calendar. The bloody domain must have cost a fortune. Bloody hate it. I don't know. This must have a lot of venture money behind it just for the domain name. And it's an all-embracing scheduler calendar. Starts at around $20 a month. They've got a free one as well. Start off. You're going to say, why bother? Because there's a clear leader they're competing, but it doesn't.
I never actually, I'm surprised I haven't heard of this. I'm wondering where this came out of, because this kind of thing, you're right, this doesn't just pop out of somebody's rear end all of a sudden, especially with the domain.
Some serious money's behind this, isn't it?
Here's a team. I'm looking at the team. I'm trying to figure out when it was created. It had to have been funded by some company. I got to look them up and see. And tech, whatever, Crunchbase will have.
I can't quite see. It was on all the AI new product lists, folks. I had a look at it. Did a bit of a dive. I was quite impressed what it does when it comes to UX design, folks.
All right, here's the deal.
Yeah,
I got the news. Palo Alto, venture funded, started. Man, it's hard to say, but it looks like it was started pretty recently. 2017.
Right.
There's got to be something tied into this, because I agree with everything else you said. It's like that domain name, you don't just like stumble upon it.
Well, the domain name, what, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, just for the domain name,
who knows? But I mean, it could have come from something else. It says they only raised $270,000, but that just doesn't make any sense.
Nah.
That was maybe a last round, and it's very private. So there's, I don't know. It doesn't make much difference. But the bottom line is the idea and the name obviously are very clever.
It does a ton of stuff.
I guess what it comes down to is, like, I always wonder, like, the same why. I go, okay, it's scheduling for teams. I think that's the key.
Yeah. And
then there's something about it that I didn't go into that, but something about it that the AI is executing probably to coordinate the wherewithal between the teams.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is one I did not get a chance to actually try out.
That's about it.
Is that it? Where do you see otherwise? Because I'm looking on their site. I don't see them mentioning AI. Where's the AI part?
Well, that's what that was what I was finding. I came to the same conclusion.
How did you list it on here for the AI part? Did it just
because it's on all when I did my research, if you do a Google search on AI products and services, it's on some of the leading lists.
Okay, here I found it. So it says here calendar. Oh no, this is calendar.com. No, this is not calendar.ai. Is there a chance there was a confusion?
Could be. I could have muffed up. Did I muff up?
I have a feeling that it was maybe, but hold on, because there's nothing in here that I see as a feature. There's a calendar.ai. I suspect, Jonathan, we might have had a confusion with.
I need to be replaced by AI, don't I?
I think so, because I think that let's go with that one. We can fix it. Let's go over there and see what that one looks like. Calendar.ai is actually leader.net calendar, automated appointment scheduling, where AI is presumably involved in doing that, and it says
he's going to spend the rest of the episode trying to find a calendar.
Well, no, it says here automated scheduling allows leads and customers to book appointments with you automatically according to your availability. Discover social profiles, work experience, other meaningful. So, like,
it does sound more AI than the one I've got. I've got a bit. I struggled to find. I was just intrigued that it was something. When I came across the domain, and I might have made a mistake, but it's been around. But there's some WordPress solutions, and then you got the leader. That also has got a team functionality now. I just don't know where they're going to get traction from. I think we should move on because I'm embarrassed. I made a cock up there, folks, but I'm a human. Growth Bar, a total SS research. There's a number of tools here. I've got one that I've listed. The leader is Surfer SEO, but this is a new player. Comes with a Chrome extension that looked really good. It looks pretty good, actually. Basically, it looks for keyword terms. that and gives you advice about how competitive they are. I've got a tool that I use for this. I've got a number of tools, SEO tools that I utilize, kind of more old school, but work really well. But this for the price, it starts at $29. Does the research, gives you recommendations, looks at domain authority. These are all kind of SEO terms, folks. So if you're just trying to build your membership, the course, you're probably not into this, but this is going to be part, might be of some interest. And I think it's a reasonable product. And they're using AI technology. Any thoughts on this, or you would like to move on?
I mean, well, no, this one is a real good match because there's several products that we've talked about in the past and that I've used personally inside of WordPress. So whether you use it as outside service or an inside service, it really matters not, because SEO is kind of like a global result, right? So the ones that I've used before that are plugins in WordPress have this very similar functionality. They allow you to do an incredibly tedious task of researching keywords, putting in, which keywords, modifying all the parameters. And even though the plugins do a great job and this does a great job, it's still questionable in my mind, but still worth using. This is the fork in the road. SEO as it was, I feel like has a very limited shelf life because of the very same thing that AI does, which is now that you could find stuff through AI, the old game that Google owned of search, term organic search optimization isn't any longer really the game, is it? So like SEO as we know it is an outcome.
I think we're in a transitional
period, right?
Period, but none of us know how this is all going to play out really, because I think there's some searches where you just want an answer. I think AI works perfectly. There's other where you don't even know the language, you don't even know the feature list, you don't even know what the parameters that you need to know to make a reasonably logical choice.
Right.
More that I just don't think. It's just quicker to look over a couple of websites and get an impression, and then you can ask your AI assistant some questions. I'm not even sure I'm right about this. I'm just giving a general how I was.
I'm just saying, like, to the extent that you need and use SEO today, which is true, these tools actually produce results, right? So if you're sitting in there and you're trying to get your score, I can say it. Like I wouldn't ever use Yoast, but I use Rank Math. So Rank Math has AI built into it for even the basic functions. You're trying to get your score up to like 100. Well, it's 70 to 80 is pretty easy, but like to get from 80 up, you need a little help sometimes, and I think it does a great job of that. Would I love it that we didn't have to do that anymore at all? Yes, because this is a perfect, like using my video metaphor, like this is like video editing to me. I just want to get the content, put it in the post that's focused for like all of the mechanical things that have to happen to get it to the end user or to the end system that's the robot searching my site. I would rather it not ever have to be known to me. And it's going to be a battle of the bots in the future.
There you go. On to another project that I've got really, really mixed feelings about. Well, not about the particular product, but where it in the particular genre it's competing in. That's you're going to have to help me here. Is it Tidio? How do you pronounce it? Number 7.
I don't know. It's either Tidio or Tidio. I don't know.
Tidio. It's a chatbot. Chatbot.
Tidio. I don't know.
Tidio.
I don't know if it has any accent tildes.
Now, I hate this. Is a part you go to every corporate website. I do have ones on my own website properties, folks. But I use Drift, and basically it sends a notification, and I reply. I'm mostly in front of either my computer or I've got my phone, and if somebody messages through a couple of websites, I try and reply in real time and have a conversation with them. But you go to every corporate website in America, they've got these artificial intelligent chatbots asking you a series of freaking questions that
Right.
become more and more
Inane.
frustrating as you go down this rabbit hole. And you just want a bloody answer, or you just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So I'm the wrong person. They must work in a way, but what's your own feelings about this whole area?
That's you couldn't have said it better. So, you know, I use Amazon for a lot of stuff. The other day I had some trouble with there was a claim delivery that didn't happen. And that's rare, but it's clear it didn't happen. So they give you the ability to have a call to you. The first thing they make you do is use not Tidio, but like similar chatbot. And the problem, if it got you what you wanted on the first one or two inputs, it'd be fine. But it's like voice jail made into a bot. It's just
it's talk show. I think it's a digital waterboarding.
I mean, it's just an endless series of like typing and more information. And in my head was the same words, which is rare to hear, the same words you're using. Like, had a person just simply said, "Hi, Spencer, what's the problem?" I could have just said, "Here's the problem," and they could fix it. Now, they actually do allow you to get past it and get to a person. Don't start with a whole nother conversation. The Amazon people, it's clearly an offshore, call center. You can hear it in the background, and it doesn't matter where they're at. They're offshore. Okay, you can do the math and figure out where. Very helpful people. But the same thing, it's like, instead of it really solving the problem quicker, what's the problem? And then they ask you 17 questions more when the website has the information and it like came from that. I was on that product. Right?
No, nothing's linked, is it? Nothing.
About using, in other words, how about using the AI to know that I clicked the freaking button on that product and go, "Are you calling about the button that you clicked on the freaking product? What's the problem?" And that's it. So we can laugh and joke about it, but see, what I've learned, and this is it's true of any business where there's clerical people and they're trying, like, there are businesses designed, the people who design this, the corporate people design it sometimes to act as a deterrent, right? It's a black hat, it's a dark pattern method to slow people down and frustrate them out of not bothering the company. It's true. I'm not saying that's the motive with my Amazon experience, but I'm saying, like, these chatbots, if you put one on your site, that's not the same as a pop-up type in the chat. I have a pop-up chat on WP Launchify. All that is a glorified contact form. I mean, I don't even turn it on when I'm around. It's just there because it's on the page. Nobody has to go to the contact page. They go, "Oh, I clicked the little thing," and it just says, "I'm not here, type in what you want," and it sends me an email. And I usually respond from my iPhone within minutes. But it's not an expectation that I'm going to be, I did that in the early days, like, no way ever again. Like random questions all throughout the day, because nobody has the ability to manage that as a small business. So AI needs to be as good or better than the smartest person in your company. Until then, quite frankly, don't torture your customers by putting an AI chatbot on. Don't.
I just don't do it.
Even though, by the way, our friend Andrew Warner made a business around teaching people to do it. Andrew doesn't know what the hell he's talking about with this, because in the customer service realm, I've found never one good experience from an AI chatbot. Not one.
It's a bit of a wild card here, folks. So I just Paperspace. They got bought by DigitalOcean a couple of days ago. DigitalOcean, who's got a massive checkbook, have gone out and bought Paperspace. Paperspace is cloud computing. Basically, it's got space in gaming and AI and
an application building.
Yeah, but they kind of Well, you explain what it is. Go on.
Well, there's lots of tools that exist for even developers to connect together, almost like some kind of a board game. Oh man, I'm thinking my internet is going so slow now. I think this website is taking it down. I'm going to turn off the website. There was some animation on it. Yeah, there we go. Their website with that animation, once it was like killing my Chrome browser.
Oh, what is it with Chicago?
I mean, no, this was my actual computer, the resource
Oh.
monitor from their homepage. It's got some moving animated GIF or something. Anyway, it has the ability to connect together modules to build an application and launch it quickly. And it's actually a really neat concept that's been around for lots of different builders in different spaces. But instead of starting from scratch and coding stuff, you can essentially go like, I need an interface to log in, an interface to pay, this, and this. And like, we'll do this oftentimes with scraper tools or with research tools. And now AI does allow you to do that from a lot of other spaces. Like you can make an application for a specialty search criterion or whatever. I like the concept, but as always, this is a tool not for lay persons. I mean, this is a tool for higher level developers. And furthermore, even with the tools that those of us who do some coding use, you still have to, as I was saying earlier, ChatGPT 4 is lobotomized. And if you use the API, it's slightly less lobotomized, but they've lobotomized it to the point where I can't trust any answer it gives me without checking each piece of it. So it's absolutely a speed demon when it comes to helping me code something. But that's because in my head, I know what I would have had to write and code, and I just ask it to give me each Lego block now one at a time, and I have to test it before I snap it in. Whereas I would have loved to go build me a 40-foot snowman from Legos and ta-da. But I cannot trust that now because it's so lobotomized that it would come back with some fire-breathing dragon that would eat my children or something. So you have to be aware that AI tools, AI chatbots, they're unfinished tools.
We're kind of in early days, but it's been
I mean, it's fun to play.
Yeah. So it's pretty tech, this thing, but they kind of sell it as a kind of computer engine, and you can do various things with it. And it's owned, like I say, DigitalOcean got their checkbook out, snapped it up for
they've got some
gobs of money, but they got loads of money anyway. So there we go. On to our last two. One that I use almost every day, and that's Word Hero. Word Hero it provides little tools, little widgets for specific writing and marketing needs. It provides a little widget library. Like if you want a description for your YouTube video, it's got a little widget and you can put a phrase in and it will write a description for your YouTube video. Or if you want a meta description for your web post, it will write it for you. And they've got a whole library. And I bought into this. I bought a lifetime deal with it, and I found it really useful because it just saves time. So they've got about 100. I probably only use about 6 or 7 of the widgets on a regular basis, but I must use them almost every day. And I just found it just a quick. Would I cough up $49 a month for it? I don't really know, to be honest, but I got it on a lifetime deal. So,
I mean, I don't see why you would when you could just, no offense, but I pay, I think it was premium, like $12 a month for ChatGPT 4, and you get the
premium. But it's been monopolized, as you said.
I don't know if they've raised my price, but even if it was 20, it was 20. Okay, it's like $20.
Yeah, but you said it's had brain surgery, and you're having to use 3.5.
I'm saying you got to keep in mind though. These are all, unless I'm misunderstanding their model, they're using the underlying engine of ChatGPT. I'm almost sure about that. I mean, there's nobody that I'm aware of other than like Google or Microsoft that has tried to write their own engine because they don't have access to enough data.
Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, you're just taking like, do I need the interface and pay more because I can't just go and type my prompts, in a certain way? That's what you're essentially paying for. And I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong or not a good idea, but when you look at the price, I don't see where's their pricing anyway?
Hide it a bit. You go dig around. I think
where's the pricing? They don't even have it on the.
Scroll down. I think it's
there
down
at the very bottom. That's weird.
Yeah.
Why would they not?
I think they know. I think they're going to have to reduce the price a bit myself. But there we go.
Yeah.
Well,
I think so too. I mean, It's a lot of pop-up restaurants in town, that are there today, gone tomorrow. So I can't blame them, but
I think I think they built up a pretty good business. It is useful. I just find it the stuff it produces is kind of customized for the specific task that you're looking to do. So it's quick and easy. So on to the last one, Surfer SEO. In some ways similar to Growth Bar, but it was but like Jarvis, it was into the market the earliest, really. It does the SEO research for you. It's got a lovely UX design, a really polished UX design, and it's got some other elements to it that are quite powerful and stylish. Does get
Are we talking about Surfer SEO?
Yeah. It is, like I say, it was the one of the earliest players in this particular, very similar. A lot of people in the SEO content producing area use Jarvis with Surfer SEO. I think Natalie uses Surfer SEO quite a bit. I use a different tool. I use Nero Writer myself. But I have used,
though, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, Surfer monthly pricing $89, $179, $299, like for SEO.
It's expensive. Yeah, it's expensive.
I mean,
but if you compare it to, go on.
Compare it to Rank Math. I mean, you could buy you can buy Rank Math with $59 a year.
I think Rank Math is fantastic for what it does, but this is a quasi-professional SEO product.
I don't see the difference, though. What do you mean? What's the difference?
It really you need to use it. You'll be able to
I'm saying, like, let's break it down for the listeners, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm not saying they don't deserve the money, but like if they're not actually a concierge, or there's not something that, unicorns are going to fly in from space, you're talking about spending monthly $89. That's $1,100, maybe $1,200 almost a year. And then when you go up for the credits, which there's these credits, it seems like you're going to be stuck with $200-$300 a month. That's $3,000, $4,000.
Yeah.
For that kind of money, you could buy Rank Math, hire somebody full time to operate it, and never show up to your job again. I mean, that's an expensive. Listen, I say it because I'm talking about all these other tools that we've been discussing, Canva and the video editors and this and that and this and that and this. And like, it takes some big cojones to charge $300 for one specialty tool. This isn't a hosted platform or something that, eats hay. It's a tool, and it's using the same AI engine that you could get a hold of for $20 for nearly unlimited use per month. So I'm not 100% sure what's up with this, but maybe I'm wrong, and I'm open to the idea if somebody can.
Maybe you're right. I don't. Well, I'd say it's compared to a more traditional product I utilize called Href. I use that every day, or something like KV Finder. That's not quite so expensive. That's about $400 a year. But
that's different, though, isn't it? Because they start at $99 a month, and they go up if you're advanced $399 a month. But that's Ahref is like a power user tool when you're doing research on what you, quite frankly, like what you're trying to build your business around and trying to discover.
What it tends to do is it combines all the features of a number of fragmented professional level SEO tools in one interface. So you put the title in, or the keywords that you want to rank for. It tells you what the competitors are. It tells you the domain authority, and then it will actually write the content for you as well. And you can put content that you've written in Jarvis into it. It does come with a really slick WordPress plugin as well. And it can either write for you to something, but you have to buy more credits for that, or you can utilize something like Jarvis, and you put it in, and it will highlight. It will actually read the article the same way that Google will read it, and it will tell you how this will rank compared to your competitors, and then it will give you recommendations, and it will also do it automatically to improve the article. So it does do a fair bit, but it is definitely not cheap.
Yeah. I mean, listen, in fairness, the kind of things that Ahrefs does, they have a very special place in the market, because I would say it'd be called fairly a competitive research and development tool for SEO, right? You're not doing that just because you have a website and you're just like hoping to get a good relative scrape of Google's robots. You're doing it because you want to see the marketplace, figure out what all your competitors are doing, and then stuff all the keywords and do all that black hat, white hat stuff that some people
which I do every day now.
And so at the end of the day, you can argue whether that's going to stick around or not, and none of us know. But like, that's been the source of many conversations here and around our WordPress family about some companies that use that to their advantage and to the disadvantage of others. And I feel like the world isn't fair, but this is like people who have the means, and corporations that have the means to avoid paying taxes and hire lobbyists and all kinds of other stuff. So I give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll rescind my earlier comment. If that's what you're going for, then it's a competitive tool like Ahrefs. My understanding, I thought, was more, it was like an SEO, make your post look better tool, and it didn't seem priced for that.
It's a quasi-professional. I actually think Href have some ownership of this company. I'm not sure on that though, but I think they've got some investment in it, or they might actually own it. I'm not sure actually. If I'm totally wrong about that, please do not sue me. So I think we have come to our winding road. I quite enjoyed it actually. I think I made a total balls up with calendar. I think I might have got confused there, but I'm getting so old that don't hold it against me, listeners and viewers. But it's got a nice interface, calendar though. But I don't think it's got anything to do with SEO, with AI at the present moment. I think so. Just to finish off, I don't think it was a bad list. I think it gave a taste of the different areas that AI is being plugged, that somebody that's got a membership website would probably be looking at, wouldn't they? What's your own feelings? What rating would you give it? I would give myself a B- for the list that I managed to produce.
Are you talking about Surfer SEO?
Or all of it in general, the list in general. I think there was some interesting stuff.
Of the tools that I would probably suggest would be interesting, I would say, in fairness, Jasper's old school, but like, as we talked about, there's lots of alternatives. I really kind of think Murph is my favorite out of all of these, because with Pictory, there is some cool stuff you can do, but Murph is really the most practical. And at the same time, there's other tools that, like we talked about, Midjourney and so forth. But Murph or Descript would give somebody a lot of bang for the buck in any case, because even if it's your own voice, the ability to, let's say, take something where you made a flub, like you've never done that, in a video, and replace it after the fact is a rather powerful thing that would save you from having to remake a video. So I like that the best. The other stuff seems to me early days and/or very specialized compared to the alternative pricing. I would encourage anybody listening to the show to not be intimidated and just also go for comparative sake and use OpenAI ChatGPT directly, because you'll find that with just a reasonable prompt, the interfaces doesn't change the outcome at all. In fact, sometimes it's worse, because I've used some of those tools in the OpenAI realm that are like, make it your automated assistant. And what happens is it's like adding a layer like the chatbot onto, I could have just gotten it easier if I asked it directly. So be cynical and yet curious. And I think you'll get really decent, interesting results. I have absolutely 100% been convinced from the first moment I used the OpenAI that it's a game changer for anybody who just wants to take a moment to figure out where it can optimize. For me, doing things like doing the YouTube a description, doing an outline of a post or a page. If I'm doing a webinar, just like outline the concept into slides, like all that stuff, or coding, because I use it a lot for coding. I have to know what I want to code. I have to know how to ask the questions. But because I've become better at making those questions into prompts and checking it, it's like literally having a team of people that I'm just going barking orders to, and they do it. But you still have to be on top of it.
I bought into one. I bought recently. It's a company called Be Human. B for bus. Be Human. This thing, you import a list, first name, first name, email, and through LinkedIn or through sending them email, you can make a video. You make a video, and you put a placer for their first name, right, in the video, and then you upload it to Be Human, and it replaces the first name, right? And it will send the. I've been looking at. I'm in two minds to inflict this on people, but I'm doing a B2B campaign the end of this month. So we're going to be sending out physical letters, and I was thinking of utilizing this through LinkedIn. And so sending a message to every person in the target audience with me saying, hello, it's Jonathan. Great to meet you, be whoever you are. And I've got to do some testing on it, but I bought into it, and it seems a bit creepy as well. So I'm in two minds about it. But there you go. I thought I'd just throw that in. I'm up to it, folks. I think we've had a fabulous show. So, Spencer, what's the best way for people to find out more about you and what you're up to?
I would go to WPLaunchify.com, or you can find me at spencerforeman.com, no E in Foreman, social media Spencer Foreman. And, I think this year the topic is how to simplify your business online and get it online and use tools that allow one person to do much more and realize, let's say, the promise of technology, which is to not have to have more things to manage, more complication, more shiny balls, and so forth.
Right, thanks, folks. We were back at our normal time. It's been a bit strange doing this on Wednesday, actually. It's got a feeling of Friday, but I've got 200 more days slugging it out with my keyword solution and my outreach and my whatever I'm up to. But we will be back next week with another great subject about building a great, successful membership website and getting the success that you're looking for yourself and for your family. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.
Bye.